Syncorporated has an exciting new offering to make even the most jaded and disaffected youth snap back to reality. Hedonism. That's right. Feel free to pursue your every whim because you feel like it. Morality and ethics are a social construct and therefore not real. So, Syncorporated has revived the age-old practice of hedonism, and we've trademarked it to make sure we don't miss out on any of that sweet, sexy cash. Hedonism by Syncorporated offers packages like unending spaghetti platters for you to pig out on, drugs for when you just don't want to feel anymore, and for when you're feeling a bit randy, why not just fuck that hooker with a knife strap on? Hedonism by Syncorporated. If it feel good, do it. Also available by Syncorporated, paganism.
Paganism, the religion that worships your dick. Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk.
An opinionated and accidentally funny horror movie review show. Go, 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 go.
I just took a stroll through the scraggly woods.
He had no face!
Horror!
Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it.
New theatrical releases always get priority.
But we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible.
Wow, that didn't sound good.
That didn't sound good. Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk. I am your host, Professor David Day, the foremost expert in scare no-nos, and across from me sits...
I'm Dr. Bryce Hanson. I have a...
You do hold some credentials.
What's mine?
I
hold a PhD in spookology.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's
been a while.
Yeah, it has been a little while. You guys should... We have a great show for you today. You guys should check us out over at our website. That's...
Oh, Jesus.
HorrorMovieTalk.com.
Never lost another patron with that one.
I can taste it. That was dinner. That was Szechuan. Really comes back up on you.
We're recording this one on a Friday night instead of a Saturday morning, so we are... it's a whole different realm.
All jacked out of our gourds.
Very low energy.
I'm high on Mountain Dew, Chip. You check us out at our website, horrormovietalk.com. From there, you can find links to all of our social media. And you know what? If you guys want to do us a favor, there are plans for some sort of video thing in the future. Not maybe directly in the future, but sometime at some point. You'll want to know about them, so you should check out our YouTube and go over there and subscribe to our YouTube. And man, holy moly, what's been going on with the Facebook group?
Yeah, Facebook groups, how to do it, apparently. We've got a lot of interaction there.
A lot of passionate people who are just blah, 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 blah,
you know
blah,
what's
blah.
even more amazing, now that I think of it, is the people that interacted on the Facebook page. Because the Facebook page, if you go to it, it takes a minute for it to load, like, the actual posts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little funky. But
so, I mean, it must show up in their feed, but I think that's like pretty rare for it to show up in their feed.
I mean, you guys, if you're listening to us, we just started a Facebook group, and like so many HMT fans are like, really, I'm surprised at how passionate people are about the show. That's all I'm trying to say is I think we have the best fans. This is, and then big news for today's episode. Speaking of the best fans ever, I got
to get a sound drop for like a sucking up to fans noise.
Oh yeah. Well, we just reversed some of those drain addict drops, and there you got it. But speaking of great fans, Bugsy Siegel, our rap, or resident rap artist fan, has created a song for us called HMT, and we're going to world premiere it live on this pre-recorded episode of Horror Movie Talk.
What's up, Doc?
That's Bugsy.
And here it is. Man.
Man. Man.
Yeah, that'll be it's not the world premiere because we actually posted it on social media.
It's the world premiere.
It's the world podcast premiere.
Yeah, so we do post new episodes every single Wednesday, so make sure to subscribe and leave a rating for us on Apple Podcasts. If you want to get a hold of us, make sure to call our number and leave us a voicemail. That's at 682-253-4468. Leave us a message. Tell us what you're thinking. If you got any questions for us, if you want us to settle a debate or maybe tell you how big our penises are, and then you can be severely underwhelmed. And
I'd be really scared if they knew.
Yeah, I mean,
that's...
I don't...
There's only one other person in the world that's seen my penis.
Yeah, besides me.
And, yeah.
Yeah, my wife knows something. I don't know how much.
I
don't know how much.
I got it covered right after I was born. Yeah.
She's like, how big is it? I'm like...
Well, it's like the...
6 inches. And she's
it's like
wow.
It's like the boys don't cry situation, where she doesn't know that it's just a dildo that I've been carrying in my pocket the whole time.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so we've got a great show for you today. And today we will be reviewing apparently a very controversial pick, which I was not aware of. A classic horror movie from 1995 by director David Fincher. Se7en.
Aliens 3.
Actually, not. This is his second box office movie. Movie that hit mainstream.
First successful one.
Yeah, first successful movie. So we will start out our show by giving a brief review and our score for the movie. We score on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being terrible, boring, horrible movie that makes you angry you had to watch it. 5 being a totally average film that hits all the expected marks. And 10 being so good that it transcends genre boundaries. After we give our score, we'll get into spoilers and take a deeper dive into what we liked and hated about the film. Later in this episode, we will be, of course, doing HMT Whores. Which is a little bit where we read, we don't read anything. We play voicemails that you've left us. If you have called that number that I can't remember. 682-253-4468. So we will be playing some of those for you. And, of course, right after the mid-roll, we will be debuting Bugsy's single, HMT, which is a fucking amazing song about us, about our show, and about all the fans and all the memes. So, a great show for you guys today. Super excited. So, we rented Se7en on Amazon. That's where I watched it. Is that where you watched it?
No, I still have my DVD.
God damn.
If I had given myself more time, I would have re-listened to the commentaries, because it's back in the day when DVDs were awesome and had like several commentaries and special features on them. And this one had a commentary by Fincher, Brad Pitt, and Morgan Freeman on one track.
Wow.
And then another commentary with the screenwriter, the producer, and someone else. I think David Fincher is on that one too.
Oh, okay. Well, that should give you just a little taste.
The only thing I remember from it is that they used fluorescent lighting.
In the movie?
In the movie. That was like their main source of lighting. And
yeah, it looks like
David Fincher talked about how it's just really cheap and does a pretty good job of giving some unharsh light and makes it look spooky.
Yeah, it does seem to. Sinister, I think, had some of that going on. Sure. Some of that halogen.
It's like very, yeah.
Anyways. Yeah. So, without any further ado, let's get into the trailer.
Do you like what you do for a living? These things you see?
You have to wear blinders sometimes. Most times.
Detective William Somerset is looking for a way out.
You're retiring. 6 more days and you're all the way gone.
So how long have you lived here?
Too long.
Detective David Mills is looking for a way in.
We'll be spending every waking hour together from now until the time I leave. I'll show you who your friends and enemies are.
Look, I've worked homicide 5 years. Out here.
Now,
Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a homicide.
they're caught in a game.
No fingerprints and no witnesses of any kind.
Nope. About the only thing we know about that guy right now is he's totally insane.
Where the price of sin is death.
There are 7 deadly sins. Gluttony.
You're going to come take a look at this?
Greed.
No one touches anything.
Sloth. Wrath. Pride. Lust. And envy. 7. You can expect 5 more of these.
Body was found on Tuesday morning.
I hate this city.
We're gonna get who did this.
This will be the very definition of swift justice.
There are 2 more bodies, 2 more victims.
This guy's methodical, exacting, and worst of all, patient.
He's laughing at us.
He had a gun.
He's 2 murders away from completing his masterpiece.
Let's finish it.
Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
No.
7.
7. It's a super 90s trailer, man.
Yes, that is very 90s.
Yeah, it's got that.
I kind of like it to come back.
Yeah, I would too.
To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, everything else has been just coming raging on back.
Yeah, see, I'd rather it give like the synopsis or like the elevator pitch in a voiceover than showing all the scenes.
Yeah.
That you need to see in the movie.
The new trailer fad is the fucking worst fad ever. It's like, let's just show them the whole movie and they'll really want to come see it. Let's show them all the best parts.
Show them all the explosions.
We'll make it great. Let's give away the twist at the end in the trailer. It's like, stupid. Anyway, 7 is the darkest buddy cop story you will ever find. It is directed by David Fincher and is one of his best movies, which is saying something because David Fincher is kind of like the Steven Spielberg of the R rating, if you think about it. Like, his movies are diverse. They cover a wide variety of topics and characters. They're not like, you can't really pigeonhole him into a genre, really. But all his movies are pretty much are, you know. There's let's see here, there's Fight Club and 7, and then just a bunch of other ones.
I was waiting on the edge of my seat because
I think it's Gone Girl.
You
is
are
one of them.
The worst at remembering movies and like names of directors and stuff.
So if I had to try, I think Gone Girl is one.
Gone Girl, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Social Network.
Yes, Social Network. Yeah, anything with Trent Reznor in it.
Yeah, the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And others.
It's the story of Detective Somerset, played by Morgan Freeman, a disillusioned PI at the end of his career, and Detective Mills, played by Brad Pitt.
Well, he's not a PI. PI would be private investigator.
Right. That's what I said.
Detective.
Right.
He's a dick.
Not a private dick, just
not
a dick.
Not a private dick. A public dick.
I don't know how all this stuff works. I'm just a baby-faced newbie who has something to prove.
Let's find out what else you're wrong about in your synopsis.
They what did I start being wrong with?
With PI.
Oh, so just the one thing?
Yeah, just the one thing.
All right. So they arrive on the scene of a grisly and...
and thinking that this movie is a horror movie, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will get to that. They arrive on the scene of a grisly and totally strange murder of a man who has been tied up and force-fed until death. As they find more murder scenes, they begin to realize that there is a pattern emerging. The 7 deadly sins. You got lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. In no particular order. We're taken through the lives of these detectives and learn how they cope with the total depravity that they see on a daily basis. We're given a look into the incredibly perverted and seamy underbelly of a big city with huge crime problems. This city almost reminds me of Gotham. It's a nameless city.
It's like an amalgam of like Chicago and New York.
Chicago, New York, a lot of Portland in there, seems like.
Well, because it's raining.
It's raining and it's it's full of degenerates. just really a scary place now. Mills and Somerset end up getting more serial murder than they bargained for. So my review of Seven is that... Okay, so Seven stars Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Kevin Spacey.
Whoa. Spoiler.
Yeah, it's a 25-year-old movie. Yeah, so actually, I think as this airs next week, this will be 25 years old exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, should have seen it. Although a lot of the people I talked to had never seen Seven. Lots of
which
people.
is astounding to me.
It astounds me.
Seven is like a definitive movie of the 90s. Like,
not
it's
just
like,
of the 90s. I feel like it's a top tier blockbuster movie by any standard.
Yeah. Like this is I mean, maybe it's just my generation, or maybe it's just my friends that liked movies, but this is like one of the first movies that you kind of turn the corner. You're like, this is important.
Yeah.
This is an important film to appreciate.
Your jaw hits the floor on this one.
Yeah.
Every time I watch it, I'm like, this is a fucking well-made movie.
Yeah. It's so well written. It's so well acted and directed. Like everything is spot on with this movie. It's a perfect movie.
The casting, Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Kevin Spacey all give career-topping performances in this. I mean, I think this is the movie that I think of for each of them. When I think of each of them, I go, they were in Seven.
I mean, it's not for me.
No,
this is like, yes, I think of Brad Pitt as this.
Yeah, this
generation.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt.
You probably think of Brad Pitt as Fight Club.
Yeah, Fight Club is but like, I think of him as Seven, 12 Monkeys, Fight Club.
Yeah, I don't. I gotta be honest with you. I don't like 12 Monkeys.
And Thelma and Louise.
I do not. Okay. I do not like 12 Monkeys. It's a confusing, twisty-turny movie that it loses me every time. I'm just like,
great.
Okay,
I love it.
All right, whatever. Anyway, the storytelling in Seven is beyond compare, and the twist is one that will leave you gasping for air. The idea that a human could do these things to others in the name of God is simultaneously vile and extremely true to life. The story isn't exactly a detective story, even though it involves detectives. It's very formulaic feeling while holding the audience's interest through the sheer depravity of the murders and backdrops of the movie. Seven is, at its core, a character study of a young man who wants to be a real detective and his older counterpart who kind of helps guide him through the most insane settings that any city could offer. I really like what Roger Ebert wrote about this movie, so I'm going to quote him right now. He says, "What's being used here is the same sort of approach William Friedkin employed in The Exorcist and Jonathan Demme in The Silence of the Lambs used. What could become a routine cop movie is elevated by the evocation of dread, mythology, and symbolism. Seven is not really a very deep or profound film, but it provides the convincing illusion of one. Almost all mainstream thrillers seek first to provide entertainment. This one intends to fascinate and appall." That last line, this one intends to fascinate and appall. That's what this movie did to me. Upon first viewing, second viewing, it's just appalling. And you just can't look away because it's so fucked up in its approach to.
Yeah, the world it creates is very, very fucked up. I mean, it feels like this is the first I don't know. I mean, I can't do a whole retrospective of all film, but to me, this is like the origin of modern dark cinema.
Yeah.
Like, this is very, very much like in the vein of, you know, The Dark Knight and dark movies.
Yeah, I think of...
It's late.
I mean, so, like... No, I mean, you're right. I think... So, it's kind of weird that we're naming movies that start with dark, but yeah, Dark Knight. Dark City, did you ever see that one?
No. I saw Darkman, though.
Darkman. And then also 8mm came out in 97.
Yeah.
I think of 8mm as also being like... we've mentioned this movie several times, and it's just because it's always at the front of my mind when I think of really super fucked up.
8mm in my mind is that movie that I don't feel a lot of people know about.
No, I don't think they do.
I feel like it's like a very unappreciated like masterpiece. Of what it is.
And not only that, like that's like Nick Cage's like moment in time. Like the I feel like the late 90s with Adaptation and 8mm and like these kind of like strangely unknown but still very amazing movies.
I feel like every moment is Nicolas Cage's moment.
That's true. Raising Arizona is just...
I mean, I can't think of any moment in his career where he wasn't just killing it.
Well, okay, so there was like a moment, there was a couple moments, a good half decade, maybe more, that after National Treasure, that it seems like he just kind of dropped off the face of the planet. Or maybe I just didn't see his name come up, but...
No, I mean, National Treasure is pretty recent. I don't know. My time frame.
I mean,
is
yeah,
out of
recent.
whack.
It's kind of like 2006 or 7, something like that. And then it had like 2 more.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
So, getting back to 7, Spacey's performance is one only he and very few other actors I can think of could pull off. He is the embodiment of evil, almost the devil in flesh. The end of this movie could have gone a few different ways, and I think the way it went was, by far, the best version that could have possibly been told. It's shocking and cruel, and the perfect end to one of the most twisted mainstream movies you will ever see. 7 contains some of the darkest subject matter that I can think of, and it has stuck with me since I saw it as a young teen. And like I said, this is storytelling at its finest. What do you think about 7? I think we've said a lot about 7.
Yeah. 7 is a perfect movie.
Yeah.
It's one of like, I mean, it's, I don't know if I ever really rank movies in my head, but it's in the top 10 of like, if I were to like pull 7 out of the hat and just be like, well, yeah, this is top 10 material.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so obviously I'm giving it a perfect score. This is a 10 out of 10 from me.
I'm giving it a 1 out of 10 because it's not a horror movie.
Oh, okay. You know, that's fair. I'll let you do that. You can do that.
No, it's 10 out for a movie. It's 10 out of 10. For a horror movie, it's not.
Oh, that was deep. I don't know, man. A lot of people disagree with you.
Yeah, so I posted a poll on our Facebook group, and I'm actually a little surprised that it won, that it was a horror movie. A lot of people consider this a horror movie.
Almost double the amount of people.
I was on the fence. It's not double. It was like 18 to 30 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Go on. You were on the fence.
I was on the fence with it because, I mean, I remember it, and what you come away with, you know, over time is you remember how dark it was and how fucked up the crime scenes were. And it's definitely disturbing in its subject material. And so I was kind of on the fence because I'm like, yeah, I could see how this could be considered a horror movie because there's lots of disturbing stuff. It's a serial killer movie, which is, you know, there's lots of serial killer movies that you would definitely say is a horror. Like Henry is definitely a horror, but even like it's classified as a biography, like
biopic,
crime pick, or something like that.
Well, yeah, but I don't put a lot of stock in the actual like oh, Amazon says it's blood. It's like, yeah, well, Amazon says a lot of fucking shit that's wrong, like all over the place. I mean,
well, there's, and here's the thing, like, I watched it last night and I came away with like, yeah, it's not a horror movie.
Wow, I was like, he'll watch this. In my mind, I was like, he'll watch it and be like, oh yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen Seven. Yeah, this is a fucking horror movie.
No, see, because
we'll get into this. We'll get into this. I promise we'll get into this.
Okay.
But to be fair, the poll is 38 people said yes, it is a horror movie, and 21 people said no, it's not. So that's almost double saying yes.
All right.
So
I'm sure you texted all your friends and got them to.
I didn't. I did not.
Well, I mean, it just tells me that we got a lot of wrong people on Facebook.
Whoa. Strong words from Bryce. So, with that, yeah, 10 out of 10. So, with that, hey, you guys, if you want to reach out to us, again, that number is 682-253-4468. That'll get you through to our voicemail line, and you can leave us a nice message, tell us what you think, blah, 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 blah. If you would like to become a patron, that would help support our show. You can do that by going to patreon.com/horrormovietalk, or you can go to our website, horrormovietalk.com, and click the link at the top of the page there that says become a patron, and that'll get you, depending on what level of patronage you choose to support us with, that will get you access to the afterpod.
Yeah, bonus content. There's been a lot of people on like Twitter, not a lot of people, but a couple people coming out of the woodworks and saying they just discovered us and they're just binging horror movie talk. And for those that are close to the end of the 2-year run of horror movie talk, you know, there's lots of extra content on that Patreon. You know, there's more where that came from.
Yeah, another year worth of podcasts.
But you got to dig deep.
You got to dig deep. Get in that $5 tier, baby. Oh, man.
So, yeah, check out the Patreon. Got a great community on there of super fans.
Yeah, and you know, if you choose to get into one of the higher tiers of patronage, you can actually choose. You can put your vote in once a month to kind of guide our ship and determine which one movie a month we will be reviewing. So you can do that over on our Patreon. Also, if you'd like to support the show or just want to rep our merch, you can do so. My brand. You can do so by going to horrormovietalk.com/shop. We got a bunch of stickers. We got t-shirts that are selling out like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Ladies, get your ladies t-shirts. You're not I need people to order 2, 3, and 4 shirts a piece.
People are sleeping on the red too. Like there's
a little bit. I got to tell you, I'm looking in my stashes, and it's pretty even.
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's weird because I look at the stock, and there's several sizes in black that are sold out.
Oh yeah,
but
medium went so fast.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm a large, so I was like, everybody's a fucking large because I'm a large.
Yeah, everything I read was like, you're gonna sell mostly larges and extra larges.
All the larges are still around.
And then and I was expecting, you know, some big titty bitches, big titty goth bitches.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, some, you know, healthy, you know, thick men.
Thick, ropey loads.
Men. And turns out, you know, a lot of svelte horror movie fans listen to horror movie talk.
Yeah, I'm all right with it, too.
We're like that friend that you stand next to in the photos to make you look thin.
I bet you hated that guy. You fucking asshole. Get off of me.
Yeah, man, guys didn't really do that.
No.
I would have been really popular as a girl, though.
Holy shit. I just don't like people taking pictures of me because I like to hold on to my soul.
Other ways you can support the podcast are if you're going to buy anything on Amazon, and you are because you're in quarantine, go to our website, click through the button in the header of the website that says buy on Amazon. Buy anything after you click that link, and we'll get a little taste.
A little taste.
And then also, please check out Dustin Goebel. He's a professional artist who fucks hard. He also takes commissions for artwork from HMT fans. He designed our kick-ass logo, and I think that's a large part of why we sold so many shirts.
No question.
Can you imagine how many shirts we would have sold if it was my logo that I kludged together?
I mean, I'm sure we'd have sold some, and we'd have been fucking lucky as shit.
Right.
Just been like, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, go to him on Instagram at DGOEBEL00, at DGOBEL00 on Instagram. And thanks so much to everyone that supports the show. I mean, Bug Z writing a fucking song for us.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe how much support we're getting right now. It's crazy, and I honestly, like, from the bottom of my heart, it's so nice to feel like we're appreciated and that we're doing something that people enjoy. That's all I want to do is just make people happy,
right?
And prove Bryce wrong on occasion.
And just want to say thank you to our newest patron, Tyler N, for joining Horror Movie Talk and supporting us, and we love you.
You know, I was talking to Dustin today. I was also talking to See No Evil today. She's one of our repeat callers, and of course, you all know Dustin. He does our artwork, and I was talking to both of them today on the phone with See No Evil, and on the computer with Dustin, and both of them were like, "You got to move to Ohio, man. Got to move to Ohio." I was like, There's nothing I want more than to move to Ohio.
Going to Ohio.
I want to move to Ohio because it seems awesome there. Stuff is super cheap. The people are super chill. I like Dustin. I like See No Evil. I think I'd fit in well in Cincinnati or Cleveland. I think I'd do well. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. Maybe Horror Movie Talk's got to take this show on the road. How do you feel about that?
Nah.
No? Okay.
Pacific Northwest is
that's
best.
what my wife says too. So, with that, let's get into... Oh, wait. Yeah. Spoilers. I love doing that. That's the best. So, before we get into spoilers proper, Bryce, I would like to ask you a question.
A retraction?
Yeah, I do have a retraction. But first, before we get into any of that, I would like to talk about Bugsy. And before that, I would like to talk about who's your favorite rappers. And I know this may be a short list because you're not a big rap fan.
I really love Snow.
What?
You know, he did Informer.
What?
He's just right in my... No, I don't know.
You don't have any favorite rappers?
I think my favorite rap is probably Outkast.
Oh, hey. Can't go wrong there. Yeah.
I think they're super great, and I really don't listen to anything else. I don't think I... Honestly, I think I only own, like, a Public Enemy album. I think I have maybe NWA and an Eminem album.
What does NWA stand for?
I can't remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
we live in Portland, David.
I can say whatever I want. It's a free country.
I don't want to get shot in the street.
So yeah, I was thinking about it today, and I think like the top ones for me are, I mean, obviously Eminem. He's great. I love the Beastie Boys. There's something about the Beastie Boys that's super special because they're able to finish each other's sentences or like jump into each other's sentences so fluidly that it's almost as if three people become one person rapping. It's a crazy thing.
Pretty sure they plan that ahead.
Well, yeah, but you don't see that anywhere else. You don't hear that kind of thing anywhere else. You know, it's especially not like long-standing groups. They're like,
is that just a Beastie Boy? I feel like that's like a style, but I have no backup for that because I know nothing about hip-hop.
I mean, it's definitely a thing that people, but the Beastie Boys, that's them. That is their deal. And then also, I really like Nicki Minaj. I really do. I like I like her flow. Like, it's very choppy. It's like, dicka, 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 dicka. You know? It's like, oompa, 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 boom. Right? I like that WAP song. She talks about her pussy.
That's not Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, it is.
How do I know that that's not Nicki Minaj and I know nothing about hip-hop?
It is.
That's Cardi B.
Oh, yeah. I like her, too. Yeah, she got that wet-ass pussy. So anyway,
in a pot.
So with that, I would like to premiere one of the great upcoming rappers of our time.
Oh, we're doing this right now?
Yeah, we're doing it right now. This is Bugsy's new hit single, HMT. Okay, here we go. You guys ready? This is hot shit right here.
Is it HMT or is it horror movie talk? I feel like it's horror movie talk.
Could be horror movie talk. The file I have says HMT.
I think on all the posts he says horror movie talk. But,
okay, horror movie talk. Well, it stands for the same thing.
I just want to be correct.
Just abbreviating it.
We're repping Bugsy.
Looking for a podcast full of burps and gas, perverted cast, skinny and fat? Look no further. Horror Movie Talk is accidentally funny, begs to donate money, fake sponsors for dummies, and so much more. New episodes every hump day. They'll pickle your dickle for foreplay. Patreon members have it your way. Vote for a movie every month for the review. Chompa chompa, don't just stare at it, eat it like a taco. Put your tongue through the phone hoodie, Picasso. Look at them hot kids, swear not a pedo. Got me too'd with Cosby eating jello. Pudding Pops done gave Bryce flatulence. Drain addict Dave doesn't give a shit. 1 through 10, is it horrible or excellent? Oil me up, daddy, is dinner rubs. Kiss, Bryce Hansen. Look at them hot kids, Chris Henson. Masturbate with a crucifix, exorcist. Face huggers, chest bursters, alien. Linda Blair peed on Sigourney Weaver. I know it's true cause it came from social media. Patrick Bateman can't understand you. Stab you to death for rotten apple reviews. Opinionated podcaster with a doctorate. Spookology, doctor of philosophy. Bad gastritis, need colostomy. Turn Patreons into human centipedes. David Doobie Day, scare him, no expert. And Global fucks hard, professional sexpert. Afterpods, taglines, and porno flicks. American Psycho, them guys pretty sick. Chompa chompa, don't just stare at it, eat it like a taco. Put your tongue through the phone hoodie, Picasso. Look at them hot kids, swear not a pedo. Got me too'd with Cosby eating jello. Pudding Pops done gave Bryce flatulence. Train addict Dave doesn't give a shit. 1 through 10, is it horrible or excellent? Oil me up, daddy, is dinner rubs. Nothing good happens in the woods. Always get more than you bargained for. Got a pickle to dickle, machines tickle bitties. Killer on the phone, ain't no Sharon Stone. Vancouver, Portland, Oregon, and organs. Corona, COVID, curse, Lorona. Green River Killer, because reasons. Hallway of poop monster kids screaming. Ain't your ordinary dingleberry itinerary. 30-day shutter and jump scares ain't fucking scary. Time for the spoilers with jokes and tropes. Use their white socks to catch their loads. Just show them one titty, pretty. Paganism you should worship, they Teflon dicks. Pacific Northwest, let them see one breast. Shifty eyes stay spooky, poor man's digress. Bugsy, HMT, horror movie talk. Hold on, they don't like Halloween. Fuck them.
That is, wow.
Bravo.
Wow. Man. Masterful. Just fucking like.
I don't know if any of you listening, or you, dear listener, that I'm talking into their ear, I don't know if you have ever had someone write a song about you, but it's a very surreal experience.
It's surreal, and
especially when they're just talking mostly about how you fart all the time.
He's like, cut the backing track, gives Bryce flatulence. Thank you. It's like, okay.
And see, I don't think that's fair because David is the one that farts all the time.
I don't hardly ever fart.
Yeah. I mean, out of the times that we've mentioned farting in this studio.
Okay, I fart a lot.
Yeah.
I definitely fart a lot. Yeah. I don't know what it's a nerves thing maybe, or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's what I eat. You don't drink a lot of coffee either. I don't know. I can't. Anyway, but the point is, Bugsy made an amazing song, and
I'll be honest, I've had the chorus going through my head.
Chompa chompa.
Chompa chompa. It's that and like the there's a TikTok sound that's a
I'm farting right now.
Oh God.
Wow.
I think they heard that.
Yeah.
It's WAP, except it's someone doing an imitation of Celine Dion doing WAP.
Yeah.
So she's like,
WAP. You can't say WAP.
WAP?
Yeah, you can't say WAP. That's a
racial slur. I think in the song she says WAP and WAP at different times.
Well, that's racially insensitive of her.
All right.
Anyways,
go on TikTok and keep scrolling.
Nicki Minaj. That's very rude of Nicki Minaj to do.
Yeah, Nicki Minaj is gonna be pissed.
Right? What if Nicki Minaj listens to this show and she's like, and she does one of those campaigns like Samuel L. Jackson and she's
Lawrence
not.
Fishburne.
I'm not Cardi B, and Cardi B wears a shirt that says I'm not a Nicki Minaj.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, because they both listen to HMT, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Give Bugsy some love over on his Instagram. That's Bugsy, Bugz Siegel, Siegel. Give him some love. Show him what you think about that song, because I really truly appreciate it.
So yeah, that's going through my head. The chorus,
Chompa chompa,
chompa chompa. It's very, very effective. And then the other song, I actually found an example of it. Here's the TikTok sound that is going through my head at all times.
From the top, make it drop, that's somewhere. Now get a bucket and a mop, that's somewhere. I'm talking wop, 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 that's somewhere. Macaroni in a pot, that's somewhere.
I have no idea what's happening on this episode anymore. I don't get it.
Also, we have to mention, it's amazing how many horror movie talk memes are stuffed in that song.
I can't believe
stuff from like the first year, like Hoodie Picasso. I'm pretty sure it's in the intro music, but that's like one of the very first in jokes.
I think Hoodie Picasso happened. Like this last winter, like in January, December. I think right around The Grudge.
No, it was like one of our first reviews.
No, it wasn't. I guarantee you. I promise you. You're misremembering this.
All right.
Anyway, so first order of business in spoilers, I have to issue a retraction. Edward Leonard from Host, the man from Host who I claimed was fat, just looks like a big fat fatty. He's not actually. He isn't.
Someone called us out on social media. It's like, do your research.
At Joe McCorriston on Instagram straightened me out. He showed me some pictures of an incredibly ripped man who was apparently just has a gigantic fat fucking face. And he is one of the stars of Host, which is a bad movie out on Shudder right now, unless you talk to Bryce, in which case it's a good movie.
That's another movie that had a real
big split.
Yeah, a lot of people disliked that movie, and the people that liked it really liked it.
Yeah, it's true. So back to Se7en. I love this movie because it jumps right into it. It doesn't feel like it wastes any of your time. And the first thing we see is a crime of passion. A dude murdered in a domestic dispute, and Morgan Freeman's character, Somerset, asks the detective. It's kind of a little bit of a character build building moment, and he asked the one of the cops who's there. He's like, "Did the kids see anything?" Mm-hmm. And the other detective was like, "What the fuck is with these ridiculous questions? Like, what does that have to do with anything?" And it's like it sets up that Morgan Freeman has humanity left in him and like cares about what the kids saw. Did the kids see it? And the other guy's just he's no humanity left, and the other guy kind of represents the whole rest of the city, which is really just gone to the dogs. It's just totally depraved and gross. And so I wasn't sure. Yeah, I got strong Chicago vibes from this place. Obviously,
yeah,
also
it's got like an elevated train that like shakes the Mills's apartment, and so that's very Chicago-y.
Yeah,
and then New York is everything else,
but it's left completely ambiguous, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and then they go, an hour or two away, and it's definitely California.
100% the Fresno Valley or something like this. Yeah. So I enjoy that they leave it ambiguous as to what city it is. And then we meet Brad Pitt. He comes in and he's, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and he keeps explaining through the whole start of the movie. He's like, "Hey, I'm not new to this. I've been doing this for a while."
Yeah,
guy, and
it's nice seeing Brad Pitt trying. Yeah, this is back when he was trying to where he's not like just only exclusively doing roles that make him look cool.
Yeah. My favorite. What's your favorite Brad Pitt role?
I mean, Fight Club. It's got to be Fight Club.
Really? Like nothing is even close.
This is close.
This is pretty close.
I mean, 12 Monkeys that's like another thing.
Wow, the wind up in the pitch.
12 Monkeys like proves that he's actually a really great actor. I think he did fantastic in that.
Yeah, he did.
But yeah, I mean, one of those three movies I'd say is like the definitive Brad Pitt movie for me.
I think my absolute favorite Brad Pitt role is Burn After Reading. That's so great, where he's just this upbeat like cardio addict of I love it. I love how dopey he can be in that movie. And set against John Malkovich, who just fucking hates his guts. And they sit in that car and they have that argument where he's like, "I have reasons." And John Malkovich is like, "Shut the fuck up. What's the matter with you?" I love it. So yeah, Brad Pitt's constantly basically trying to prove that, he's legit.
Yeah, it's very much, this is, I mean, you mentioned in the beginning, I didn't realize it until this watching, like, this is basically a dark and gritty Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
It's, the elderly black cop I'm a week away from retirement.
God damn it, he's a week away from retirement.
Too old for this shit.
Too old for this shit.
Too old for this city.
Yeah.
And then it's got like the crazy up and coming white kid.
Hey.
It's like, I play by my own rules. I'm dictated by emotions.
Yeah, I tried to watch Mad Max the other. Speaking of what's his name,
Mel Gibson.
I tried to watch Mad Max the other night with
another fantastic horror movie
with Carrie, and she was like, "I can't watch this movie knowing this guy's a gigantic anti-Semite." And I was like, "Yeah, it kind of ruins it for you, doesn't it?" Yeah, bums me out about Mel Gibson. So we watched Total Recall instead, and it was way better. Yeah. Anyway,
the remake or the original?
The original.
My wife has never seen.
Has
never seen Total Recall.
Wow.
She's never seen 7 until last night either.
Wow.
Yeah,
I envy her.
She grew up pretty sheltered and mostly like black and white musicals. It's like where her oeuvre was.
What? What's that word?
I'm not even sure if I said it right.
Okay. So at this point, we get a good taste of the city. It's super dark. It's super gritty. But it's not visually dark. You can see everything. They make sure that the lighting is good. I want to point that out. The lighting in this movie is perfect. just because we've had a couple of movies recently that have been annoyingly dark.
I love that. What's her name? The lady that left the voicemail.
Oh, See No Evil?
See No Evil. She also talked about how dark Sinister was and you know, some of these other movies and Dark Knight. I think that was her, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, because I think we were talking about, you know, how it's literally dark.
Yeah.
Like hard to see.
Yeah.
And like my mom doesn't like the Dark Knight because it's really dark and
too hard
to see
it.
And like, I just found it ironic because she's literally blind. She also found it very dark.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, when you're starting to go blind, things get dark anyway. So it's like you're not helping when you make these movies fucking impossible to see. So, like I said, the first murder in this series that they come upon is gluttony, and it's a gigantic fat man who is face down in a plate of spaghetti, and mom's spaghetti, and he's bound.
I don't know. I can't remember the lyrics to 8 Mile.
Oh yeah,
his knees weak.
No, knees weak, arms sweaty, mom's spaghetti.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
So he's bound by the feet and hands, and he's just keeled over. His skin is like almost see through. You can see all the veins. It's very strange.
It's really disturbing, and it really, man,
sets it up.
David Fincher really shows himself as an excellent director in this, because there's so many shots that as I was watching, I'm like, wow, that's an iconic shot. Like, and it's just a half a second, but it's like, man, that looks
it sticks
awesome.
with you.
Yeah.
You remember that.
So like the one shot of the gluttony victim's hands like tied together,
right, and it looks like maybe with barbed wire, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah,
but it seems intense,
right,
because it's digging deep into his skin.
Yeah,
and and
they find out that he was force fed to death.
Yeah,
which sounds delightful to me.
They find they find bruises on the back of his head.
Yeah, because where the guy was pushing the gun to his head.
The pistol against his head.
And it shows the maturity of Somerset, because there's no real indication that it was a murder at first glance. And he's... I think it was Mills is like, well, who said it was a murder? And Somerset said, no one.
Yeah.
Because he can just intuitively tell something ain't right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, I don't know, it sets up, this scene is so important because it tees this movie off very well. It captures your attention perfectly. Mm-hmm. And then you're just hooked. You're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, like the super memorable ones. There's like bookends.
Yes.
For this movie. There's the gluttony, they start out.
Super memorable.
Like, that is super memorable. And then the lust is super memorable.
For me, sloth is by far almost maybe the most.
Yeah.
It's but yeah, and then pride and boy, there's only two others.
Was it vanity? What was the girl that took the pills?
So
that must have been pride.
Yeah, and it's not wrath.
Oh, greed. It was greed.
Was the defense attorney.
Yeah, greed was the least memorable one.
Yes. Yeah. I kind of remember it because he makes him cut off a pound of his own fat to balance out the scales of justice. Mm-hmm. So this lawyer has to decide where flesh is going to come off of his own body and then cut it off, and then he ends up dying of his own wounds. But so at this point, I will invite the discussion. So to be clear, I asked you. Oh well, I didn't even ask. I just said next week we're going to be reviewing 7, and you just straight up said, "Okay, it's not a horror movie though." But you allowed it.
Yeah.
What's that?
See, I did some quick calculations in my head. And it was like, if this was a year ago, I'd push back and I'd be like, this is not consistent with the brand of horror movie talk. It's not a horror movie. It's like, it's far enough outside to where it's like, this is another thing. It's not.
These are all these are all just like.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
It's just your opinion.
And we've discussed, like, because you've wanted to do like more movies outside of horror genre or like stuff on the edges.
Oh, well, I would like to do another podcast about just fucking movies, just regular movies.
Right. And that's kind of where it goes. It's like, well, if we're going to do that, it's got to be kind of something separate, either bonus content or something else. So if it was like a year ago, I would have put up a fight and said, like, no, we shouldn't do that on horror movie talk. But then I realized, like, I don't really want to debate David. I just want to
debate David on the podcast.
Debate David on the podcast. And
okay, so that's. I figured it was probably something like that. So what is your contention that Se7en is, if not a horror movie or a thriller?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Like, by the way, before we even get into this, I'm going to say at the end of this, and I think we should do this after every major debate we have. We're going to affirm each other. We're going to say nice things about each other to bring the room back into a positive space. All right, so you're going to have to say some nice stuff about me. All right.
Oh, okay.
I need your approval.
Okay. So the first question is, like, what is genre? Right. Like, what makes up a genre?
Oh, God.
And it's a set of not just tropes, but style and conventions. Not just like how the story is told or like elements of it, but really like the overall conventions and intent of the artwork.
Okay.
And it's always weird to classify anything like music or movies, because when people are making movies or music, they're not necessarily thinking of like, well, I'm going to make a really great horror movie.
Unless they're like making Thanksgiving, in which case it's...
Right. So they are mostly just going into it. They want to tell a story, and they choose a
really horrific topic, like with a bunch of horrific stuff.
They choose like a narrative style and choose like their shots and like where their focus is going to be put to tell that story. And there's lots of different ways you can tell it. I mean, that's like why it's funny when people redo trailers into, they do like As Good as It Gets or something and make it into a horror movie trailer.
Yeah.
What About Bob or something like that.
Sure.
Because it's easy. You just like change the music. You focus on a look.
Yeah.
You add some menace to something, and it really changes the entire intent of the story, And through that lens, this is not a genre movie in the genre of horror. I mean, if you were to... So this is definitely a genre movie. Like, there's no doubt about it to me that this is definitely falls within a genre, but it's not horror. It's mystery or crime movie. And I'd even put drama pretty high up there too before I'd get to horror. I mean, really.
You wouldn't say this is a psychological thriller?
No, see, the thing with like the thriller is that there has to be like a looming threat to the protagonist or to someone that you can see. Like, everything in the movie is after the fact. Like, they come upon the victim, like...
It's the ultimate looming threat at the end.
Well, yeah, the very end, sure.
Yeah, but not only that, all the victims the whole way through. I mean...
Yeah, but you're not shown the victims beforehand.
Sure.
Like, there's no opportunity to have empathy for any of the victims.
I mean, I don't know. I felt pretty fucking bad for all of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's tragic and gross, but like you honestly, it intentionally doesn't tell you anything about the victims other than the bad things that they did or the bad aspects of their personality that were the reason why John Doe picked them. So anyways, like the storytelling in it is very focused on the relationship between Somerset and Mills.
Yeah.
The thematic material of the city being morally bankrupt, and the mystery of who is committing these murders. And really, if you step back, you say, this is a movie about a serial killer with two detectives trying to find him, right? And you can tell that movie as a horror movie, like, or a thriller. Like, this is almost not really a thriller to me, because there's not a ton of suspense.
This is so suspenseful to me. This whole movie is suspenseful.
Well,
and it's so what's around the next bend, you know? It's like, what is the next ordeal they're going to have to deal with? And that's where the horror comes in for me. But
I mean, it's not an ordeal for them. It's their job.
That doesn't mean it's not an ordeal. My job's the biggest fucking ordeal in my whole life.
Well, so anyways, like that's all I'm saying. If we're going to talk about what is a genre and does this fall into the intent of being a horror film, like I really don't think it passes the test for that. But that being said, there are definitely, very strong horror elements and horror aesthetics. There's horrific things in it, and it makes you feel bad. But that's not enough for it to be a horror, to be defined as a horror film for me. Because if we talk about like the dread or just feeling icky or feeling like horrified, it's like, well, okay, Schindler's List is a horror movie then.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna take this one off of the list of horror, then you probably should take The Invitation off of the list of horror movies, or The Lighthouse, or Tremors, or Tucker and Dale.
What are you talking about? Tremors is a monster movie, and there's always
it's a comedy. It's mostly a comedy.
No, it's
action. Lots of action.
It's mostly a monster movie.
And Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's almost exclusively a comedy. There's no horror in it at all, but it's a horror movie like everybody thinks it is.
Well, no, because it's using the conventions and tropes of horror movies as part of the storytelling. That's why it's funny, because it's a horror comedy.
Okay, what about The Platform or American Psycho, or the best example of one that I don't think you can refute is Silence of the Lambs. This is basically Silence of the Lambs.
It's not, though. It's not, because we are shown the victim of Buffalo Bill, and you have empathy for her, and there is suspense.
We're shown the victim of Kevin Spacey, Gwyneth Paltrow, and we have
but you don't know.
Her.
You don't.
And
that's
Brad
the whole.
Pitt.
That's the whole point. There's a twist at the ending that's shocking, because you would have never suspected.
Yes, but at that moment, there is so much bound up in that moment.
If this movie was the last scene, it would be one of the most phenomenal horror shorts in the world. But unfortunately, there's like a 2-hour-long movie before that is definitely a mystery crime.
That involves a girl getting fucked to death with a knife. That involves...
No, it shows the crime scene of that. It doesn't show anything.
See, this is another example of just how, like, and this is what I really think it boils down to. Everything strikes everyone differently to such an extreme degree that it's almost impossible to say anything with certainty ever. It's like you want to go into something and say, there's the truth, but it's like, it's not real. Like, it's just real for you. And someone else experiences this shit so differently. And so I don't like. I feel horrified every time I watch this movie, and it's not just that I feel horrified; it's that it does all the same things or all the things that I want a horror movie to do for me, which is it shows me shit that I've never thought of before, and that's really fucked up and weird, and that like will stick with me in a horrible way, and it shows you all the worst parts of people. And I was thinking about this today, and like I want to include so many things in this, if it were up to me, there's even things like No Country for Old Men, kind of. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna go out on that limb.
I'm doing like a whole head eye roll.
Yeah, obviously, I'm not going to go out on that limb. But the point I'm trying to make is, I think a lot of people will disagree with you.
I mean, obviously, like I'll admit that. I mean, looking at the poll, there's more people that agree with you than me. But when it comes to like nomenclature, when it comes to like, let's decide how to categorize things. You look at like, the scientific classification of, animals and plants. It's like, you don't get very far before you get to a point where like, well, that doesn't really make sense, or that doesn't really go together, or, we assumed like all these types of animals held to these rules, but look at this one. It's basically the same thing, but it doesn't hold to that one rule. And so, or if you like, I was at a company that did customs like tariff information, and so like to classify everything that crosses borders, you have to like assign it a number, and you have to like group them together in supposedly logical groups, and there's a giant like 3,000 page document that literally just lists stuff and numbers associated with them, and they get it wrong. It's like they say a tomato is a vegetable, where like everyone would agree with that, but it's not really. It's actually a fruit.
Yeah, technically,
yeah, and
it is, but also,
right,
eat your vegetable.
Or there was a great case where Mattel, I think, or
sure,
one of these toy companies was importing X-Men
I remember
action figures,
saying this.
And they were choosing the classification for like what was it? It was either action figures or dolls or something. It was like some certain like non-human designation, because the doll designation or like the action figure designation was a higher tax.
For sure.
But you can argue that an X-Men figure they're literally not human.
They're mutants.
They're mutants.
Yeah. They're specifically not human.
They're specifically not. I mean, it looks like a biped, it looks like a human.
Yeah.
With a funny haircut.
Right.
But really.
But it ain't.
It
ain't. That's Wolverine, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
It's like when. Okay. I'm not going to go into.
Okay, well.
That's just like your opinion, man.
That's Bryce's take on whether or not this is a horror movie. You guys let us know what you think. I think without question this is, if it's not horror, it's got so many horror elements that it at least puts it within the grasp of horror movie talk. And I mean, we're sitting here reviewing it, so it has to be a horror movie, right? Because it's horror movie talk. So.
Join us next week when we review Shirley Temple's horror movie classic, Bright Eyes.
Did you know? I like that R. Lee Ermey is in this movie.
I like that R. Lee Ermey's name sounds enough like Army.
I know. It's every time I want to think of his name, I go,
R. Lee
what's his
Army.
name? Army something. Early Army.
Early Army.
Yeah, he's great in everything he does. But the problem with him is you just go, oh, that's Early Army.
Yeah.
That's...
Why is that drill instructor their captain?
Yeah, he could suck a golf ball through a garden hose. So yeah, then the Greed murder happens. It's the defense attorney Eli Gould was murdered. Gould. And then Morgan Freeman makes this discovery. Arlie Ermey comes in and he's like, "Hey, here's some fucking plastic they dug out of Fat Boy's belly." And he's like, "I don't care." And they're like, "It was," and then Arlie Ermey's like, "It was fed to him." And then Morgan Freeman's like, "What the fuck?"
Which, now that I think of it, how would they...
Well, I mean, how else would he get a hold of it, right?
Yeah.
He was tied up.
But maybe he just ate that willingly himself. Can you prove that was forcefully fed to him? Maybe he just really liked the taste of linoleum.
It's a good point. You make almost as strong a case as you did for this being a horror movie.
Yeah. This was a trigger for me.
Why? What does that mean exactly? So this made you upset somehow?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You know the water damage that we suffered?
Yeah.
And how we had our whole kitchen like demolished for a good portion of a year?
Yeah, it was a long time. It was like 6 months.
Yeah, that linoleum that they put down is already falling apart. Like literally peeling up. And so we called the company and I was like, listen, I don't want this to go sour, but I had the worst experience in my life dealing with you guys.
And that's saying something because my dad just died.
Yeah. And it was just a nightmare. That was a horror movie. This is what happened to me and these contractors.
Was it? Or was it really more of a mystery?
It was more of a thriller. So it was within a year and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's under warranty. We'll call the subcontractor or whatever and they'll come out and
they'll be out in 3 years.
Look at it." And so the guy comes out and he basically says like, "Oh yeah, the contractor that did this used my contractor license, but he wasn't me."
Oh, well, I guess that fucking sucks for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Better pony on up. Or else I guess you're going to lose your contractor license for lending it to some other guy.
And so he looked at it and he was like, "Oh yeah, what happened was
don't care, fix it."
They laid it down and then the guy moved my fridge and then gouged it. And so he had to replace like one square. And the one square is like right next to the kitchen table where it's all the traffic and all the chairs scooching back and forth. And so, of course, it peels up. And this contractor that came to like look
That's a load-bearing square.
At the damage, he's like, "Oh, yeah, they use like the absolute cheapest material. Like it's the cheapest linoleum laid on like paper, basically."
Okay.
And it's just waiting to get peeled up. And so it's like,
did you start eating it?
And originally they're like, "Well, we'll just patch it. We'll cut out a piece and put it down." I'm like, well, isn't it just going to do the same thing? Like what? And
yeah,
so
but it'll get you past that 1 year mark, you dumb idiot.
They're going to replace the whole floor, which they should because it's a piece of shit.
Yeah, fuck those.
I don't even want to talk about the counters either because that's like the same thing. Like I wish I would have chosen my own contractors. But anyways, and we're paying like the difference between like the next level up, which probably shouldn't have to do. Anyways, all right. So I was triggered by the linoleum. That is a fascinating story.
So he gets over there and he pulls the fridge out and he finds, oh shit, there's like, here's where all the pieces of linoleum were scraped off the floor. And behind the fridge, he sees the words gluttony. Whoa. And so this blew my mind as a teenager as I was watching it and stuck with me forever. Now, this is a somewhat problematic movie because Brad Pitt uses a few words. He says the Daggett word,
Daggett word.
Yeah, the word that rhymes with Daggett.
Dragnet?
Dragnet. Yeah, he says dragnet because they're detectives.
Mm-hmm.
He says that loudly. And then he also says the R word.
Retarded?
Oh, you said the R word. Yeah. So trigger warning on that. I like the scene where Somerset heads to the library a lot. Does that strike a nerve for you?
Also, like rewinding, there's the great scene because it shows Mills like on his own for like one of the cases, and it's the greed one, and you see him like watch the news, and it shows him like kind of having flop sweat. He's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
because the defense attorney or the guy on the
DA
TV
or whatever,
the DA on the TV is like, I assure everyone that person working on this, that the people working on this case are the absolute cream of the crop, and this will be the most rock solid investigation we've ever done. And
be the definition of swift justice.
Brad Pitt's like, oh shit, oh my god.
And so that's a great. There's lots of great character moments in this.
It's a whole character building movie. It's fabulous.
It's almost like a drama. So yeah, that happens, and then it goes back to Somerset, and he finds the gluttony thing, and so it matches up with Brad Pitt's crime scene that has the word greed written.
Yeah.
And so they realize that this is a guy obsessed with the 7 sins.
Yeah, but going back to the library scene, Somerset heads there, and it's like nighttime, and it's like there's a bunch of cops, sitting up on this watchtower, sort of like watching over the library, and they're all playing poker. And he says, "I'll never understand you guys. All these books, and all you do is play poker all night long. You have like all this knowledge," and so it shows his like reverence for knowledge and and his
wisdom,
and they put on this beautiful classical music, and I don't know. I've always remembered that scene as being kind of like is like holding up intelligence, and I always liked it a lot.
And I like the follow up where it gives the counterpoint of Detective Mills. He's like, fucking Dante, fucking rhyming F word,
F word,
and he's like pissed off and he doesn't get it, and then like he has someone deliver a bunch of Cliff's Notes.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
And he puts the Cliff Notes in his desk all secretly, like, I hope Somerset doesn't see me reading these Cliff Notes.
Remember Cliff's Notes? Do they still have Cliff's Notes?
Yeah, it's called the entire internet.
Oh yeah.
So at this point, Somerset gets invited to dinner with Gwyneth and Brad, and they have a nice dinner. They get to know each other. They learn that like basically Brad Pitt's apartment is either above or below the train. They say subway, so I think it's below. But in any event, their whole apartment's just...
It's like the subway train runs through their hallway.
I wonder if... is that a thing? Like, it must be, right?
Being next to a train?
Yeah, I mean, It must be.
There's houses next to trains.
I've never lived in a big city, so I don't... I've really never experienced that, and I have no knowledge of that, but it seems simultaneously very romantic and like the most horrible life you could possibly live. So then we get like a bit of Somerset teaching Brad Pitt about like how fucked up this city is. And I love this line. He says, the first thing they teach women in rape prevention is never to yell rape. Always yell fire, because nobody's going to come help you if you yell rape. But you yell fire and people come a running every time.
Yeah.
And that really does a lot to kind of like put a weird like, ugh.
Right.
It's a fucking nasty, horrible place.
Yeah, the movie does goes through real effort to define the characters. As Somerset is super jaded and emotionally distant and broken, from the experience of living in the city and being a homicide detective. And then it does goes through real efforts to paint Mills's character as impulsive, like passionate, and like a true believer in justice.
Yeah.
And that, through, just grit and effort, he could solve any case,
Yeah.
And Somerset's like, man, we just come here, write down times and dates, and document everything, and hope that when they catch him, it'll help them send him to prison. That's all we can do.
But it's a very off chance that that's going to happen.
Right.
Like, most of this shit is just checking boxes. So.
But yeah, there's several interchanges that like display that dichotomy, and I didn't appreciate it until this viewing how much they really foreshadow and set up like the tragedy at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Which is like it is inevitable because it's who Detective Mills is.
Right.
And he there's a line where he says, I feed off my emotion. Like he's proud of it, that he's not trying to be emotionless and like stoic about everything. It's like he uses his emotions and feeds off them so that he can, be energized to finish the job or whatever.
Yeah, it's admirable because, man, it's hard to finish jobs. I mean, it's hard. Maybe it's just because a lot of the jobs I've worked are somewhat mundane when compared to solving murder cases. It kind of puts things in perspective when it's like, oh, well, somebody died here and you got to pay your respects to them as a public servant by finding the person who did it and fingering them good. Fingering them real good. Fingering them into the ground until they can't take it anymore.
Stop saying fingering.
Okay. So then we get to, I would argue, the second most disturbing part of this entire movie, which is sloth.
Yeah. This one, Aaron jumped at.
Oh,
it's great.
This is one of the best jump scares in all of jump scare history.
Yeah. But just like a desiccated corpse.
Well, why did the SWAT team get called in? It wasn't a bomb threat, was it? Because the whole SWAT team got called in.
No, what happened was that they found the fingerprints on the wall in the Greed victim's house behind a painting.
Yes.
And it was the first fingerprints, and so they tracked down the fingerprints to this apartment, and it was basically pointing all fingers to this is the killer.
Yeah. So they break in there, SWAT team all in hand, and they get into this room, and it's brilliant how they shoot this because the camera is pointing at the SWAT team, right? So so the cameraman is backing up as this SWAT team is coming in the house, and he backs through the room where they're going to be, and as you get to see more and more of the room around you, all you see are all these air fresheners, these little pine tree air fresheners. I mean, not like 20. We're talking like 2,000 hung at varying heights from the ceiling. And so it's a real spectacle. And you're like, what the fuck is going on in here? And then it pans back to the bed where there is basically just a zombie-looking desiccated man who, I mean, his gums are completely pulled back. His lips barely cover any part of his mouth.
Yeah, it's like this would be like a 5-year-old zombie in like any Walking Dead episode.
Yeah, he's just, I mean, it's obvious that he's dead and very dead. And so they're like, Jesus Christ. And they learn who it is. It's a pedophile, but also a drug dealer. And so kind of the cops, he's a known pedophile drug dealer. So the cops are like, this guy got what he deserved. Look at this guy. And as they're kind of like, sifting through the room and figuring out, one of the SWAT team members is like looking this guy in the face, like, good Lord, you got exactly what you, and as he does this, like, the body like leaps to life, starts coughing, and it's like, it just gives me chills thinking about it. Like, this is really one of the best scenes in all of movie history to me, just because of how fucking alarming it is.
Yeah, it was horrifying.
And it sets it up so perfectly. What was Erin's reaction? This was her first time watching it.
I mean, she jumped pretty high.
Did she?
Yeah. Just like, Jesus!
Yeah. You never would expect it.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
She reacted much stronger to that than she did the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, and then, they're in the stairwell, and a guy's taking pictures of him, and he claims he's the press, and Brad Pitt chasing him off. He's like, hey, fuck you, guy, get out of here, guy, blah, blah, blah. How they find us. And Morgan Freeman says, oh, well, people from the press pay off dudes in the police force to, get access to, the first part of this, get to be the first on the scene. So at this point, they use the FBI database to look at the library card of people who've been checking out all these books, like Dante's Inferno and all these other books, and all these other books.
Marcus de Sade.
Go on.
I love that little touch because I don't think millennials or Gen Z will get that joke.
I don't get it.
Where Detective Mills is there. He's kind of like trying to flex and show that he's read, these books on the 7 Deadly Sins too. And he's like, oh yeah, that quote from Marcus de Sade and Somerset's like Marquise de Sade because it's spelled Sade, and there was a very prominent R&B artist named Sade. Okay. It was pronounced Sade, but it was spelled Sade.
Wow. Look at you.
I thought it was funny.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good detective work there, Bryce.
All right.
So they use this FBI database to trace the library card of John Doe, a man who has named himself John Doe. And you do need valid forms of identification to get a library card. So this guy's actual name is John Doe. And so they go to his apartment, knock on his door, and then they see someone walk up the hall on the other side, down the hall. And they're like knocking on the door. And Morgan Freeman says, oh, excuse me, sir. And at that moment, the man down the hall starts firing at them. And big chase scene ensues. And this is the killer. They've stumbled upon the right spot.
This chase scene has just some of the best direction.
It's great.
Best cinematography.
Yeah. For
a chase scene. It's so iconic. It's one of these things where it's low key. If you're gonna do a clip show in the Oscars about action or chases or mystery, they're always going to use clips from Seven because it looks fantastic.
Yes.
There's a shot where John Doe hurdles over a balcony, and it just shows a silhouette, lots of silhouette of John Doe. Just looks like kind of like the Ninja Turtles would be when they went out in public at night.
Yeah.
Like the trench coats and the fedoras.
Yeah.
And you'd only see their outline and their silhouette,
and
so that's all you saw of John Doe.
And it goes through the apartment complex, right? So he's trying. And obviously Mills, the younger one, is right hot on his tail, and Somerset is kind of cleaning up behind him.
Yeah.
So he's people are peeking out of their doors, and he tells this one lady, "Hey, go back inside." And first of all, he's like, "Which way to go?" She points, and he goes, go back inside and lock the door. And it's all these little touches through this thing. And then Mills, runs through an apartment where the door's been left open. All these kids in this apartment, and they're pointing at their bathroom. They're like, he went through there. And there's the window in the bathroom that's open, and the air is coming through, and you see the flutter of the curtains over the window. And as he peeks out the window, he starts shooting at him. Anyway, long story, long chase scene short. John Doe
ambushes
Mills in a dump truck,
and that's another just iconic shot of John Doe has the gun to Mills's head.
John Doe has the upper hand,
which he just like smashed in, and so Mills's vision is all blurry, and you just see this like out of focus silhouette with like the gun in the foreground in focus.
Yeah,
and it's just so menacing and such a great communication of just being utterly helpless.
Yeah, you get got.
Yeah,
and so, but he chooses to leave. He chooses to spare Brad Pitt's life, and so then we get to, I'd say, probably the most disturbing.
Yeah, this is the most disturbing one. This is the one I think of like when I was like on the fence of like, well, yeah, it could be horror because of the lust murder, and it shocked me. Like, it shows nothing. Like, it barely shows anything.
Yeah, it's great.
And even like what it does show you is not clear. It like shows like a Polaroid of this, penis
cod piece. It's like
sheath.
It's like a cod piece with a knife on the end, a big long knife on.
It's not like super big in the frame. It's not like really in focus. It's like this kind of shitty Polaroid taking up a very small amount of the frame.
Yeah.
And you just fill it in with your mind.
Oh,
and also when they look at the crime scene, that show nothing. Like, it's the one crime scene where they literally show no part of the body of the victim.
Thank God. If this is, oh man, can you imagine if Rob Zombie remade this? Oh my God. You want a horror movie to end all horror movies. Although, I was talking to Jason, one of our patrons, today, I guess, and he was saying, Rob Zombie just seems to think gore is horror. And he's got a point. There's nothing like, this is the other side of this argument, which is like, some movies are just gory and they're not scary at all.
Right.
And that's kind of also the opposite. It's like, oh, this is just gore porn. It's not really horror. It's not scary. It's just nasty gross.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that scene, what really sells that murder is the guy that's forced to
that guy
murder the lady. Holy cow, that guy, that's the performance of the movie.
Yeah, he reminds that performance where he's like, he took me and he put a gun to my head and he put this thing on me and he told me to fuck her and so I did. And it's like, oh my God, you just like, oh my God, this poor man, like this guy is going to be fucked forever.
Yeah.
And he's just forced against his will to murder a girl with a knife dick. A knife dick.
Knife dick.
And his performance in this reminds me a lot of the Cyberdyne dude in Terminator 2 who has the depressor, whereas, he's like, it's a very visceral performance where the actor sells it so well, sells that moment of like...
That's probably the greatest moment of acting in the movie until the ending with Brad Pitt.
What's in the box? Yeah.
While Brad Pitt's holding the gun, like debating in his mind
crying.
whether to shoot him, like that is intense.
Yeah.
Like, because you can see just the back and forth that's going on in his head.
Oh, and you're right there with him.
Yeah.
So let's get there. So Kevin Spacey turns himself in for some reason. We have no idea why.
Detective!
Yeah, detective. He yells he walks into the police station, yells at the detective, gives himself up, and says, "I will cooperate fully." To his lawyer. The lawyer.
This was the other thing that I thought about was like he turns himself in and immediately says, "I want to talk to my lawyer," to which Mills goes, "Fuck." And if you're to talk to any detective or police, literally that's probably what they'd yell, because if you watch any like true crime stories, the one thing that's common about criminals that get caught and convicted is that they don't shut up in interrogation and they don't ask for a lawyer.
Wow.
I'm like, oh yeah, I can totally convince him. Like I
got this.
I'll just lie. It's easy. Just lie about stuff Like, I have nothing to worry about. Why would I call a lawyer? That just makes me look
I have
guilty.
to keep my story straight. I have to go to a professional.
If you look at any like true crime or any like Dateline show, if the victim or if the suspect asks for a lawyer and doesn't talk, like the police are like, well, fuck, I guess there's nothing we can do. I guess that one's just unsolved.
Wow.
Because like, it's amazing.
It just puts a massive roadblock in the
how
whole
much
thing.
it depends on like self-incrimination.
Anyway, so he talks to his lawyer, and miraculously, the lawyer's like, look, he'll cooperate fully, and he says he's got 2 more bodies out there. So if you want to find him, he wants Mills and Somerset to drive him to a location out in the middle of the California desert, far, far away from here, and then, you know, and then he'll show you where the bodies are. So, of course, they do that. They drive him all the way out in the desert, and then they're the best part is the drive there, because the whole way there, they're like, Mills is like, you fucking idiot. You're so stupid. You think you're so great, but in reality, it's, you know.
Well, that's such a great scene, because it gives John Doe the opportunity to, like, give his thesis, right. a statement, or, like, his dissertation about what he's doing and what his work is and what it means for society and how he's going to be remembered and how important it is. And Mills is the only one really talking to him and just like doing the counterpoint of like, you're full of shit. You're a crazy person.
What's it like to be crazy? What is it like? Can you tell me?
Yeah. And it's just very dismissive and of like, all that stuff. And the whole time you see Somerset like just real uneasy about how this is going, because he knows that John Doe is very, very smart. And like, this is obviously a game. Right. And this is obviously a play in his game. And how Mills is like giving in and engaging with him so freely, it's
upsetting.
It's not right. He can intuit that it's dangerous.
Right.
And it's like very foreshadowing of what's to come next.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great drive because, and you know, Kevin Spacey, I mean, this is Hannibal Lecter level performance. I mean, it's such an iconically evil role, and he sells it so perfectly. I think I was talking to Dustin today, and he was like, "Oh, you mean the movie where Kevin Spacey shows his true colors?"
That's what my wife said. It's like, well, no wonder Kevin Spacey can play villains. He's a natural predator.
All right. Well,
see, I take issue with Kevin Spacey.
I do too,
because I feel like he's one that like got caught up, and it's like nothing was ever proven.
Yeah. There's a lot of hearsay and conjecture going on.
Yeah, nothing, like, he definitely wasn't convicted. Like, everything was dropped.
It was all the court of public opinion and nothing else.
Yeah.
It's kind of maybe.
And I really like Kevin Spacey as an actor, so I'm bummed.
I am too. I got to tell you, he's one of the best ones we ever had. And
he'll be back. What's going to happen is he's going to direct his own thing.
Oh, gonna go fully Woody Allen. Huh?
He's gonna. I mean, that's what like Mel Gibson did,
and Woody Allen,
What are you saying about Woody Allen?
Woody Allen was the original Woody Allen.
Yeah.
So they get out into the middle of the desert, and a delivery truck approaches. Everybody freaks out because they're like, "What the fuck is in that box?" And Somerset sends the delivery driver running. He's like, "Get out of here! You go on, get!" And he runs off, and he'll be picked up by the police. But then he kind of debates about it a little bit. He's like, "Is this a fucking bomb? Is he gonna blow us up?"
Yeah, Somerset is like kind of looking back and forth because he knows that this is the moment. This is like, this is the reveal.
It's an interesting choice because, okay, first of all, Somerset runs out to intercept, and then he's a good ways away, like he's well away from them, and you can tell that there's an internal dialogue happening with him where it's like, everybody thinks, is this a bomb? What's in the box? Probably a bomb. It's probably a bomb.
Yeah.
And Somerset does the math and he opens it, which means he's kind of like basically sacrificing
If
himself.
it is a bomb, it's going to only take out me.
Right.
Yeah.
But it sets it up so well. It's because he's far away from Mills and Kevin Spacey, John Doe, and he opens it up, and it, you know, it's never shown. Another part of just expert, but
right?
Immediately as he opens it up, it's Gwyneth Paltrow's head. It's Mills's wife's head, and now John Doe's giving this speech about how, oh, David, I envied you so much. You know, I just envied your normal life and your wife, and I tried to make it work with her earlier today, but it just didn't work out. So I guess the sin I committed was envy. Blank
murder. The 7 deadly sins, one of which is murder.
And murder. So I guess I'm guilty of envy. And he's like, go ahead, David. Become wrath. And David's like, what's in the box? What's in the box? This is like the most iconic end to any movie ever. And my nips are getting hard. And and of course, this is really where Brad Pitt earns his keep in this movie, because you can. And on top of it all, he says they've been trying to get pregnant, and John Doe says, "I had to murder your wife and the unborn baby inside her." And now Brad Pitt's just like, whoa.
Because he didn't know.
This makes me cry with rage. Like, this is so... it's so full of...
And that is like the moment where it turns from just pure evil to literally Satan.
Yeah.
When Kevin Spacey goes, oh, he didn't know.
He didn't know that he was going to be a dad. It's like, oh my God, dude, this is...
I feel like even if you were like the most depraved serial killer, if you found out that like, oh no, he didn't know there was the baby, like, oh, well, now I feel bad.
I can't...
Just a run-of-the-mill serial killer would be like, oh, wow, what a social faux pas I just made. I really should have cleared
put this
that
back in
I'm
there.
sorry. Let's just focus on the fact that I killed your wife. I mean, let's not talk about the baby. No, but John Doe, he leaned into it.
It's so fucked up. And you can really see... Oh, man. And in this moment in the movie, you are... there, you know, you're making that decision. You're going, would I do it? Would I spare him? And it's so good that that the movie ended with him shooting him and becoming wrath. Because I think about this all the time. When I think about this movie, I'm like, what if he hadn't done it? Because that's another very legitimate way that this movie could have gone, and the movie would have suffered tremendously because of it, I think. But I've seen movies that blow their load wrong like this.
I mean, it would have been just it would be a different moral to the story, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, with the ending that it has, it just equals, well, this is hopeless.
Right.
Like, literally, this is not something you control or can combat. You are a victim.
Right.
To the world. And if he had chosen to not murder him and just say, no, you don't win. Like, I know what you're doing. You don't win. I'm going to put you through the justice system, you know, and do it right. That would have said something, at the very least, slightly more uplifting.
I think
it'd still be super unsatisfying.
I think it wouldn't have been satisfying at all. I mean, this is a very satisfying ending to me. It's
well, satisfying in that it's ultimately tragic.
Right. Yeah, I guess the tragedy is really what I want.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely ties it up in a bow. Like, that's a very logical, like, the ties up the thesis of the movie, which it, states pretty explicitly throughout, which is like, the world is an awful place. I mean, Somerset's last line of dialogue is that, the world is a good place and worth fighting for, or something like that. And he says, I agree with the second part.
Yeah, the world is worth fighting for.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not that it's a good place. Yeah, it's
like an ultimate, like, this is described as a neo-noir movie. Like, it's very much like film noir in that it's completely bittersweet and dark.
Yeah.
And that's the end. That's like the feeling it gives you at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a real rough ending, and I love it for it. It's dark and desperate and hopeless, and again, it's great. Just great.
Just great.
So with that, who would you recommend this movie to?
You did great. You did great.
You did great.
I mean, this is absolutely everyone and their mom should see this movie. Like, this is, I mean, I can't, to say that there would be someone that would dislike this movie, that's kind of the point. Yeah, it's going to be an unpleasant experience for anyone, but they should definitely go through it.
Yeah, I think there's a little asterisk there, which is if you're squeamish with imagery or suggestive themes, this is going to be very rough.
And
for
also,
you.
why are you listening to a horror movie podcast? See, the next question.
Well, a lot of people do listen to it because they get to pick and choose, their poison.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway. So with that, let's get into... That was our review of the very obviously a horror movie, Se7en.
Oh, hey ho, I call it...
Mystery.
Let's get into horror movie talk. Whores. It just goes on like that. Let's see here. Here is the first voicemail that I got this week was from our girl in Cleveland, See No Evil. Here we go.
Hey, this is See No Evil. Thanks for playing my voicemail. It made me feel all warm and fuzzy. I have a question for you guys and your listeners. So, what makes a good horror movie? For me, it's a movie that plays on my irrational fears and alters my behavior. For instance, arachnophobia, I was already terrified of spiders. Watching the movie just magnified that. And Jaws, actually back in the 70s when it first came out, it destroyed tourism for a lot of beachfront cities and killed their revenue. And I just think it's fascinating how a movie can potentially change the way that we live. Oh, by the way, the review of Host, very nice. And it just goes to prove that you shouldn't open doors that you can't close.
Ooh.
Take care, guys. Peace out.
Thank you very much, See No Evil. So let's see here. Her question was, what makes a good horror movie for you? And then she lists arachnophobia and Jaws, both very monster focused.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll never look at turkeys again the same way after Thanksgiving. No, I think for me, it's just that feeling of like suspense, of just like being tense for an extended amount of time, where you're just like, Jesus Christ, what's behind that door?
I love that.
Like, just that utter like anxiety of like, I know what I'm doing here is watching a horror movie, but my body is telling me to get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out of the house. Yeah, that's very much it for me as well. Hereditary is the most recent instance of like truly me not being able to like. I was laughing the whole way through that movie because I was just so nervous.
Yeah,
I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is fucking happening.
I think now that I think of it, it's a mixture between like the suspense and like the anxiety, and then switching over to absolute helplessness.
Yeah.
Like there's no hope. Like that's what The Exorcist is for me, to where it's like first, 3/4 of the movie is just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, why is this stuff happening? And it just makes you really tense and ramps up to the point where when it flips a switch, it's like, oh shit, these are powers that we are not equipped to handle at all. Like,
right. Yeah, being completely and ultimately outclassed by an existentially incredible thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. I agree 100%.
That's like all the movies that come to head,
kind of like John Doe, just totally outclassed.
Yeah,
very horrifying.
So like Exorcist, Hereditary, Paranormal Activity, those are all that like there's lots of mystery or suspense, and then it flips over to like, okay, we're in too deep now.
Yeah. Hey, could you bring up the new numbers voicemail? Because I have the old numbers voicemail here, and I got a couple more, but I want to make sure that you...
it's 682-253-4468.
That's the number you can call, but can you also bring it up on your computer so that we can play some of the voicemails on it?
Oh, is that not... I thought that was from...
No, this is from the old number, because I do have some holdovers, that made it onto the old number in the interim. People have been calling the old number still because they've been listening to us say the old number.
I heard that one, though.
Oh, okay.
I recognize that one.
Oh, well,
maybe she did it on this one too.
Here's our patron, Jason. He's got a question for us. Let's see here.
Hey, it's your buddy Jason here. Question for you. You got Nev Campbell, you got Jennifer Tilly, and Samara Weaving. You got to fuck one, kill one, marry one. Go. Love to hear your answers.
Okay, so Jennifer Tilly she's the girl from like Bride of Chucky. She got some nice old state troopers. And then you got Samara Weaving. She's from Ready or Not. She's like, in my opinion, she's the next Scream Queen, because she has got a set of lungs on her. And then you got Nev Campbell. Obviously from Scream, and you know who Nev Campbell is. So, and you got a F, marry, kill. So I think I'm gonna marry. I think I'm gonna marry Tilly. I think I'm gonna marry Jennifer Tilly, and I think I'm gonna F Samara Weaving and kill Nev Campbell. Yeah. I think that's how I'm going to do it. Do you have any opinions on this? You got Samara Weaving, Jennifer Tilly, and Nev Campbell. F, marry, kill.
Yeah, I would marry Samara Weaving.
Okay. Why? She seems like marriage material.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just
seems like a real nice young lady.
Yeah.
And I would fuck Jennifer Tilly.
Oh yeah.
Just like
we're both killing Campbell.
Big titty goth bitch.
Man, I love her.
And kill Nev Campbell.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she would
expect that.
I feel like that would be just the worst experience, either being married to her or fucking her, because she would really not enjoy it.
No, she'd hate it all the way through. Yeah,
like,
for sure.
God damn it. Which, I mean, some days I'd probably like.
Okay.
That'd probably be a feature.
Jesus Christ, a horror movie being married to you. Here's Jason again with another call.
Jason again. This one's for Bryce. I would like a favor done if it is ever possible. Try to convince David to play a horror game. and then upload it to YouTube and see how long he lasts.
I don't like that. I'm very bad at playing horror games because I just scream and stand up and walk away from the game as it as it unfolds. I'm too invested in it. I'm too there. Like I just get way too tense.
Yeah, it's
like a spring is loaded inside me.
I'm going to say it's on the docket. Like
Yeah.
it's going to happen. That exact thing. Because we put a vote to the patrons of like, hey, out of these bonus pieces of content that we would possibly do, which would be the most interesting, and the horror game live streaming was number 2.
Was one of the big ones. In this one, in this number, See No Evil has 2 calls. She doesn't want the first one played. They should have come in today. So she just wants that second one played.
Okay.
Hi, this is See No Evil in Cleveland. Hi, Bryce. Hi, Dave. Hi, everybody. Thanks for the review of Sinister. I'm not even going to bother because I don't like dark movies anyway. So, that being said, I'm thinking about horror movies that I would like to binge watch. Okay, so one of the movies I would like to binge watch is The Omen. All 3 of them, right in a row. The second one would be Final Destination. I think there's 5 of those. And then the last one would be the Blade movies. I think there's 3 of those.
Oh, that's a good
love
choice.
Wesley Snipes. He is so awesome. He can bite me anywhere, anytime, especially on my tickle bitties. Love you guys.
Thank you, See No Evil.
Have a great day. Take care. Peace out.
You too, lady.
Yeah, thanks to See No Evil.
Yeah, what's a series you'd like to binge?
I mean,
Jaws, obviously. Don't ever watch Jaws 2 or 3.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not married to any series. Like, I feel like
A Paranormal Activity I would love to binge.
I feel like any series after 2 or 3, it's just like, just don't.
I'd love to binge Paranormal Activity. To be honest with you, I kind of have a weird fantasy about binging Tremors that I will never live out because I just couldn't last.
What is there? Is there like 9 now?
There's 6 or 7.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're coming out with a new one.
Yeah, they're coming out with a 7th, I think. I think it's a 7.
Yeah, I don't think of any series necessarily that I would binge. I mean, Poltergeist is actually would be an interesting series to binge.
I'd like to do The Exorcist just because I have never seen 2 or 3.
Yeah. 2 is, from all accounts, like a complete shit show. Like, it's a total non sequitur. And then 3 is like actually a really good
and then
movie.
And then let's see here. The
Blair Witch movies.
What's that one? LLC, Hell House LLC. I think there's 2 or 3 of those. I wouldn't mind doing that because that's a fucking
You know what would be a good
footage.
one? Child's Play, I bet would be a great one.
Oh man, scrap everything else. Child's Play is the one I want to binge because everyone is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And awesome.
I mean, I've only watched a couple, but like that's definitely one where I'd feel good about.
Puppet Master.
Yeah, Puppet Master.
Oh.
I think I still have it up
there.
I
think you have 11 Puppet Master movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good question. You got any more? In there?
Yeah, so we got a couple.
Again, that. Oh, here we go.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Manny. I'm calling from Washington. I talked to one of you guys recently on Instagram, and I just wanted to say I really love your fucking content. You guys fucking make me laugh. I just finished your Sinister, and towards the end, I started fucking laughing my ass off. I'm like, God damn, you guys are funny. I really love the creativity of your guys' show. That you guys would do your reviews and the spoilers and then some fun games and shit. Like, I just like that shit. Like, I like everything about your channel, and I really hope you guys do grow in the future. And I am planning to buy some merch and try to become a Patreon. I really want to support you guys more because you guys are like some good guys. Like, you guys deserve hella good
I like
shit.
this call.
And I love that I got horror guys like you in my area, and it'd be cool to meet you guys or watch a horror movie because that would be the best. But I hope you guys have a good day and see you guys next time.
I have to return some videotapes.
Man, thank you, Manny. I appreciate you so much, buddy. And listen,
call back anytime.
Yeah, any old time. We are great. I agree. Be like Manny.
I don't know about you.
Is Manny?
Yeah, Manny.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I talked to him on Instagram. He's from Vancouver. He's like, I'm local.
Goddamn.
This is like the second like Vancouverite that I can confirm.
Second or third.
Is like a big fan. Yeah, thanks, Manny, for the kind words.
We don't know how to accept those very well. So just
see, there's the thing. Like I normally my normal mode is self-hate, and just absolute, disgust at me and everything that I touch.
Right, gross.
And so to hear people talk about like, oh, what you're doing is great. Like I really love
just flies right by me.
Funny stuff. Like, you guys are hilarious. Like
I'm just like
I really love the just don't stop. I'm like.
I know.
Like, please stop.
Don't notice me.
Like, I mean,
please don't notice me.
Literally. It's like,
I know.
Please
It's
don't.
such a weird dichotomy because I'm like, simultaneous, I'm like, I hope horror movie talk takes off. And then on the other hand, I'm like, I am exhausted. People apparently like this show, and that means I have to talk to tons of awesome people, but I don't have the energy. Like, because it's a weird energy. It's like, I like what you do.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with this.
I don't know what to do with my hands. Yeah, like I was a vocal performance major, and a lot of that was like totally antithetical to my personality. Yeah. To where it's like people coming up to you and say, "Oh, you did a great job." I'm just like, please.
I know I didn't.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I just not really knowing what to say.
I receive sounds like it's from my mom.
Yeah.
And feels like it's from my mom. It's like, thanks, Mom.
Anyways, thanks, Manny. I don't know what to do with my hands. All right, here we go.
Much love, horror movie talk, HMT, B&D, Bryson David.
It's our boy.
It's your boy Bugsy calling in from Tampa. I really enjoyed making the horror movie talk anthem, the song, the single, the new hit. It was a lot of fun recording it at Executive Studios in Clearwater, mixed and mastered by my golden engineer, stay golden pony boy, James Wood. Anyways, you know, I mentioned the Green River Killer in the song, and my mom messages me out of nowhere saying that, what do you know about the Green River Killer? I'm like, what do you know about the Green River Killer? Apparently one of her friends or something as a kid was murdered by a serial killer. My mom was almost killed as well. There's a lot of reasons why I shouldn't be alive. Good times. But anyways, much love, horror movie talk. I really hope you guys enjoy the record. I'm so excited. I'm so stoked and so pumped. It's going to be Slayer. It's going to be killer to hear it on the podcast next week. Much love, B&D. That sounds like a fucking, like Baskin Robbins or something. Anyways, stay spooky. It's about to be fall. So excited for Cocktober. I'm at Oktoberfest. Let's get it. It's your boy, Bugsy.
What's up, Doc?
Dude, Bugsy, you're my boy. Listen. We're gonna play that HMT anthem on the outro. So stick around if you want to hear it again.
Yeah, Bugsy
he's the kind of fan everybody should want.
Bugsy is like an onion. Like every layer you pull off is just more fascinating than the last.
It's incredible. He hated Platform. He's like, what should I watch? I'm like, you should watch the Platform on Netflix because it's on Netflix and it's easy to watch and it's a great movie. He's like, this fucking blows.
Yeah,
nobody got eviscerated in this, and I was like, no. Oh, okay.
No, I was, but also his personal history
it's incredible.
Is like he
even talks like a rapper.
Yeah, he like talks about how he was like targeted by a drug dealer and kidnapped. And they had to go in witness protection.
What, program? You've never been?
That's just his life.
That's just his life.
That's the life of Bugsy.
Dude, Bugsy's the best.
Did you ever find Bugs Bunny attractive when he'd put on a dress and play a girl bunny?
No.
No. Neither did I. I was just asking.
No.
This is another good one.
Another caller.
Oh, hey. It's Jackal from Kansas. I left you a message and didn't leave any of my info. Love you again.
Okay, so this is the actual message. This is coming from Jackal from Kansas. This was the first message you left.
Okay.
Hey, what's good, my bubbies? I just got my stickers in, along with a very, very cool postcard of a sweet, sweet lamb.
Yeah.
Thanks for the personal message in it. And I wish you the best. Love you guys.
Thanks, Jackal.
Yeah, man. He's got a very specific affect that he uses. Now, first of all, I love his voice.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a very made-for-radio voice. But then also, like, when I talk to him over text, I can tell. I knew that was him just by listening to him talk, because it's the same affect he uses in his text speech.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, and he's. I think he said he's out of Kansas.
Yep.
And he's a patron. So thank you very much, Jackal. We appreciate you, buddy.
Here's one from.
Oh, and anybody who signs up to be a patron gets a thank you card of some little beautiful, like, lamb or baby llama or like a baby elephant or something like that. I have a bunch of baby animal cards that I send as thank you messages with some, and we put some HMT stickers in.
Yeah, they're horror cards. It's like Seven is a horror movie. Right. Here's one from Carson.
Hey guys, it's Carson calling from way down south from Lafayette, Louisiana. I just wanted to tell you guys thank you, like I've done 1,000 times. I love your guys' podcast. I love what y'all do. Y'all really help me throughout the day. And dare I say it, I think you guys are way above and beyond the Dead Meat podcast. So my question for you guys is, can I send you guys some fan mail? Like y'all know, I do art, and I had some pretty good ideas for both of you that I wanted to send you, like, another type of thank you from me. So thank you guys. Keep up the good work.
Dude, I love Carson.
Carson's great.
She
another victim of my misgendering, by the way.
Dude, it's... You would not be an HMT fan that talked to us if we didn't misgender you immediately. I could misgender a guy named Bob.
You're right.
I'd just be like, what's up, you sexy lady? I mean, and be like, excuse me, I'm a married 50-year-old man. I'd be like, okay.
In my defense,
I'm into that, first of all.
The two people that I misgendered were named Carson.
Oh, both of them.
And the other one was Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Gabe. Gabriel.
Yeah, it's hard. Who knows?
Like Peter Gabriel. And that's like
it's a last name.
Yeah. No. Hey, I was clarified from Gabriel specifically that she was named after Peter Gabriel.
Oh, wow.
So that's how you say it.
Peter Gabriel.
And that, I mean, I might be naive, but I feel like that's a historically male name.
Hey, I welcome all art. And I don't condone this misgendering, although I totally understand it, because I can't. I don't see
titties.
Exactly. It's all up above the neck level. Yeah, and she's a patron too.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for supporting us, Carson. Yeah. We sure do appreciate it.
Okay, we got a couple more from Bugsy, but I think this is the only one that we really need to play.
Whoa.
Ass and titties, ass and titties, ass and titties, and big booty bitches. Ass and titties, ass and titties, ass and titties, and big booty bitches. Ass and titties, ass and titties, ass and titties, and big booty bitches. Ass and titties, ass and titties, ass and titties, and big booty bitches. So, like, my whole life, I want to say I've been more of an ass man. But as I get older, you know, tits are growing on me. They're growing on them. They're showing on them. They're growing on me. For one, you don't have to wipe your tits unless you're lactating when you're preggers, you know, pregnant. I mean, girls, you know, they be flopping their little doo-doo makers all over the internet. You know, you see ass every single fucking Instagram post. Is ass and titties, ass and titties. I'm just thinking, one of these girls has to be on their period. They have to be shaking that Kotex string. If there's 5 girls all shaking their ass in one video, one of them has to have a yeast infection. One of them has to be on the period. Do these girls ever take a shit? Like, I personally shit at least 2, maybe 300 times a day. So I know, like, I've had to take a shit where it breaks off, and there's no amount of wiping it that could possibly get the shit out of my ass. So I have to jump in the fucking shower, and I'm going to trickle down the drain and burn the whole tub with bleach and whatever, sulfuric acid, whatever the fuck Walter White uses on Breaking Bad. So I know at least one of these Instagram hoes, they have diarrhea, they're fucking drinking Pepto-Bismol, they're shooting laxatives directly into their booty vein. I mean, come the fuck on. So anyways, ass and titties, ass and titties, ass and titties. It's St. Booty bitches. Much love, horror movie talk. It's your boy, Bugsy Siegel.
We do ask that you keep your messages to 1 minute in length. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, you know.
Wiser words were never said.
I mean, I guess I'm a pretty sick guy.
What about the past? Our past?
We never really shared one.
You're inhuman.
No, I'm in touch with humanity.
Bugsy's in touch with his humanity, all right? So, that was quite a manic episode. I mean...
Like I said, I feel like Bugsy lives in a manic episode.
He's a complicated man.
Yeah. But... fantastic artist.
Oh my God! Well, they're all, aren't they all? You know, they're torn between.
Every voicemail is a piece of art.
Yeah,
to me.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So you said there were. We don't have to listen to them, but you said there were more.
There was at least one more, but I feel like we gave Bugsy his time in the sun with voicemails.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
What's up, Doc?
It's Bugsy. So, with that, thank you so much for calling into the show at the number 682-253-4468. We sure do appreciate you. Let us know if you got any questions or want to start an argument or want to tell us how great we are or maybe that we're totally wrong about one of our opinions that's probably well-founded. Yeah.
Expect a lot of people to be calling in and backing me up on Se7en not being a horror movie.
Maybe. With that, thank you so much for listening to yet another episode of Horror Movie Talk. It's your boy, David, and your boy,
Bryce,
and your other boy, Bugsy. So make sure to share this episode with a friend if you had a good time with it. Also, rate us on Apple Podcasts because that's a great way to help us grow. And if you would like to support the show, you know how to do it. You can head on over to horrormovietalk.com. You can click through the link at the top of the site to become a patron, or you could buy stuff on Amazon through the link at the top of the site. This is buy stuff on Amazon, or you can shop our merch. Special thanks to our boy, Bugsy Siegel.
Bugsy Siegel.
And with that, you guys have a great week. We love you very much. Bye-bye.
Play us out, Bugsy.
Looking for a podcast full of burps and gas, perverted cast, skinny and fat? Look no further. Horror Movie Talk is accidentally funny, begs to donate money, fake sponsors for dummies, and so much more. New episodes every hump day. They'll pickle your dickle for foreplay. Patreon members have it your way. Vote for a movie every month for the review. Choppa choppa, don't just stare at it, eat it like a taco. Put your tongue through the phone, hoodie, Picasso. Look at them hot kids, swear not a pedo. Got me too'd with Cosby eating jello. Pudding Pops done gave Bryce flatulence. Drain addict Dave doesn't give a shit. 1 through 10, is it horrible or excellent? Oil me up, daddy, is dinner rum. Kiss, Bryce Hansen. Look at them hot kids, Chris Henson. Masturbate with a crucifix, exorcist. Face huggers, chest bursters, alien. Linda Blair peed on Sigourney Weaver. I know it's true cause it came from social media. Patrick Bateman can't understand you. Stab you to death for rotten apple reviews. Opinionated podcaster with a doctorate. Spookology, doctor of philosophy. Bad gastritis, need colostomy. Turn Patreons into human centipedes. David Doobie Day, scare no expert. And Goble fucks hard, professional sexpert. Afterpods, taglines, and porno flicks. American Psycho, them guys pretty sick. Choppa choppa, don't just stare at it, eat it like a taco. Put your tongue through the phone, hoodie, Picasso. Look at them hot kids, swear not a pedo. Jello. Pudding Pops done gave Bryce flatulence. Train addict Dave doesn't give a shit. 1 through 10, is it horrible or excellent? Oil me up, daddy, it's dinner rubs. Nothing good happens in the woods. Always get more than you bargain for. Got a pickle to dickle, machines tickle bitties. Killer on the phone, ain't no Sharon Stone. Vancouver, Portland, Oregon, and organs. Corona, COVID, curse, Lorona. Green River Killer, because reasons. Hallway of poop monster kids screaming. Ain't your ordinary dingleberry itinerary. 30-day shutter and jump scares ain't fucking scary. Time for the spoilers with jokes and tropes. Use their white socks to catch their loads. Just show them one titty, pretty. Paganism you should worship, they Teflon dicks. Pacific Northwest, let them see one breast. Shifty eyes stay spooky, poor man's digress. Bugsy, HMT, horror movie talk. Hold on, they don't like Halloween. Fuck them.
Why not just fuck that hooker with a knife strap on? Hedonism by Syncorporated. If it feel good... We're going to do it that way.
If it feel good, do it.
Can you give me devil voice on do it? But it doesn't have to be like in time. I can cut it up. Hedonism by Syncorporated. If it feel good,